So I got to work a little bit early today, and I've been meaning to make a video about my upcoming hiking plans. So I thought this would be a great time to do it. I found it a little bit of a challenge over the past year or so, actually, since we moved back to Georgia, to find good hiking opportunities, backpacking opportunities. In Colorado, there are so many places to go, not just in the state, but even going up to Wyoming and Utah and places around that you can go backpacking, even for short trips or weekend trips. And I know there's places like that around here too, but I have been so consumed with home improvement and work that it's been hard for me to find weeks that I could string together to go do trips or even just overnights when I didn't have to do some kind of project around the house. So I am getting to the home stretch on the home improvements, and I'm really excited about getting out and doing some backpacking. So I do have a trip that is coming up in about a month, and I am very much looking forward to it because it's a trail that I've wanted to do for a long time. And it is the 77-mile Foothills Trail in South Carolina. So I'm going to be doing that probably solo. I had invited a friend to go along with me, and unfortunately she is not going to be able to join. I have another friend who might jump in for a little bit of the hike, but I'm not sure. But it's totally okay to go solo. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because there's a lot of opportunity for peace and quiet and reflection. The trail has tons and tons of waterfalls that should be really beautiful, both on the trail and little side trips off the trail. So I can just take my time. I'm going to take a week to do it, and that will give me shorter days where I can just go and sit by a waterfall. I can write, I can read, a journal, all kinds of things. So it should be a really magical trip, and I'm very much looking forward to that because I find myself in need of a little trail therapy, if you will, lately. It's just a lot going on in life, and having a big birthday this year and thinking about turning 60. It's kind of scary. Still very much young at heart, but yeah, that's just a milestone birthday that can get in your head and make you think about a lot of things. And as I have decided that I'm fully retired from my corporate life, thinking about just income and finances and how to use the time, especially the healthy time that I have left, weighs on me a little bit. And actually, one of my friends that I was texting with yesterday was telling me, you know what? You've got to think about which backpacking trips you want to do and what you want to take advantage of your health and do all those good things while you can do them. And it does feel a bit like there are so many trails and so little time. So that is a bit of a challenge, and it is prompting me to think about what I'm going to be doing in the future, which are the, kind of bucket list trails that I might like to do, which are the ones that are just convenient and fit into a time slot or something that's been on my list for a while that I haven't had a chance to do. And so that's factoring into a lot of my plans for the year, but definitely the Foothills Trail is on the calendar, and it's going to happen. And then I'm trying to carve out a space of about 4 weeks in the late summer, early fall, that I can do another trail that's a few hundred miles. So we will see how that works out. And then going forward, I just need to decide how much time do I want to devote to work, or how much time do I need to devote to work, because it's nice to have health insurance and I do get that through work. And then how much time do I want to devote to my adventures and sharing those adventures with you? If I had no other constraints, I'd be hiking all over the world, doing trails all over the place. But unfortunately, life doesn't allow that at the moment. So maybe I'll win the lottery. Who knows? Maybe finances will turn out differently. Maybe insurance will suddenly become magically cheap and it won't be an issue. Who knows? But for now, planning on doing the Foothills Trail, and I'll be talking about that more in upcoming videos. I'll take you through my gear list and things like that. Then I'll be sharing it with you when I actually get out on the trail.
Well, I'm back. I recorded that quick update from work, and then I realized that I didn't tell you very much at all about the Foothills Trail. This is the trail that I'm going to be hiking in a couple of weeks, and I thought you might be curious about the details of that trail if you're not familiar with it already. The Foothills Trail runs for about 76 miles, 76.2, I think, through South Carolina. I believe it also touches into North Carolina. It goes from Oconee State Park on the west end to Table Rock State Park in the east. Most people tend to hike from west to east, so they go eastbound because it's a little bit easier in terms of the climbing. If you start at Table Rock, you're hit by Sassafras Mountain right at the beginning, and that's a pretty intense climb, especially for people who are doing this as a training hike or as a shakedown hike. So most people start at Oconee and head east. That's what I'm planning to do, and the trail is only about 4 hours from my house, so I'm going to get up early and head to Table Rock, where I will drop my car, and then it's fairly easy to get a shuttle from Table Rock to Oconee. I actually have another hiker that I met on the Tahoe Rim Trail who's volunteered to drive me. So she'll pick me up at Table Rock, run me to Oconee State Park, and then we'll hike east back to my car. I always prefer to hike back to my car because then you don't have to wait around for somebody to give you a ride when you get there and you're tired and you're beat and you're dirty and you're hungry. So it's nice to hike back to your car, but if you can't, that's okay too. Because it's about 76 miles, people can do this trail fairly quickly. I've heard of people doing it in just 3 or 4 days. Although I plan to take a bit longer, partly because I'm hiking solo and I can take all the time I want to just relax and enjoy the trail. There are supposed to be some amazing waterfalls that I am very much looking forward to just taking time and sitting next to. And, whether I want to just contemplate the universe or take some time to journal or whatever, it's just going to be really nice to sort of do the whole hike at my own pace, stop when I want to stop, do long days if I feel like it, do short days if I want to. And so there's a lot more freedom that comes from hiking solo. So that's my plan at the present moment. And I'm just going to be going by myself, heading eastbound. And I'm not going to stop for a food resupply. Some people, especially if they're taking 7 or 8 days to hike that trail, will do a food cache. I know some of the shuttle drivers will let people do a food cache about 28 miles in or so. So some people, that's the third day. And what they do is they take an ammo box or a bear can or something and hide it in the woods, not too far from a parking area or trailhead. And then the hikers can go and find that, and the shuttle drivers will pick up the ammo box or the storage container later. That's a good way to hide some food in a bear-proof way that's not going to cause bears to get into your food or get them too habituated. Unfortunately, we all know that's a problem with bears are acclimated to hikers and food. That's what a lot of people do, so because there's no towns along the way. There's plenty of road crossings as you go along the trail, but there's not towns where you can just dip into town and get a meal or get a resupply. So some people hike the trail a little bit faster because they don't want to carry a lot of food. I am not unaccustomed to carrying 7 days of food. I did that on the Tahoe Rim Trail, and I've got my food down to where it's pretty calorie dense. And so I don't see any problem with carrying 7 or 8 days of food. And that means I don't have to worry about arranging a food cache or stopping to find a food cache or any of that. So I'm just going to hike through with my food, knowing that my pack is going to get lighter and lighter as I go. There are some, as I mentioned, lots of waterfalls along the way. You also pass through Gorges State Park, which is another South Carolina city park. You will hike along the shores of Lake 𝐂𝐻𝐾, which is a really beautiful lake in that area of the country. And it's just supposed to be super scenic and somewhat challenging. So not intensely challenging, whereas if you are a novice hiker, it's not something that you could do. It's supposed to be challenging in a good way. And a lot of people do use this trail as a shakedown for the AT. I've heard it's a great sort of microcosm of some of the terrain that you will find on the AT. Some people use it as training, and some people just love to go out and do a shorter backpacking trip, which is kind of the mode that I'm in right now. So I'm really excited about it from the standpoint that I can take my time and hike at my own pace, that I don't have to worry about stopping for resupply or arranging any kind of boxes or anything like that that you would encounter on a longer trail. And that is just supposed to be really, really beautiful. And who doesn't love a beautiful backpacking trip? Now, hiking in the end of March can be a little bit challenging in the South because sometimes the weather is beautiful, sometimes it's hot, sometimes there are snowstorms. So I don't really know what I'm going to encounter. I also don't know about trail conditions because this particular trail, the Foothills Trail, did see a lot of damage from Hurricane Helene. And I know the trail crews have been working very hard since then to get the trail back in shape. There were also ice storms earlier this year that took out a lot of trees. The volunteers from the Foothills Trail Conservancy have been out there clearing the trail. Part of the section through Gorges State Park has been closed, and I'm pretty confident from what I hear that it's going to be open before I get there. Hopefully it will be, and I won't have to do kind of a workaround to get around that stretch. But I'm always ever thankful for the folks on the trail crews who are out there doing that work, making sure that the trails that we love are accessible and hikeable for people that want to get out and just experience being in the outdoors. So thank you all for doing that work. I will bring you guys more about that trip as it gets closer. I'll share my backpacking gear with you. I'm also planning to document that trip as I go, so you'll be able to see what that adventure looks like. And I look forward to seeing you here again next time.